My mom was incarcerated when she was pregnant with me. And so she gave birth to me handcuffed to a bed. She used to sell drugs just to provide and help my aunt provide for the house. And she was caught. I was 2 years old when she came home. She came to live with me and my aunt there until she was able to get back on her feet to provide a home for me. I've never had a great relationship with my mom. Life with her, I would define as hell. I was abused very, very much, all the time. I would get hit for no apparent reason. So I had it very, very rough. And then because of that, I became very, very depressed, very depressed. And then I started cutting myself. It relieved, like I made that pain. I caused that to myself. I caused pain to myself, and it actually made me feel better. Like, she never really sat down and said, what's wrong, or what's bothering you? Why are you doing this? What can I do to help? So that made it even worse. So I went from cutting myself to having 2 suicidal attempts. I was already on Ativan and Fioricet for stress. And I went home one day after work, and I just started crying, and I'm like, I can't be a good mom to her. I feel like I failed as a daughter. I feel like I failed as a sister to my brothers. So I took the entire bottle, and I woke up at the hospital. I didn't get into trouble. I wasn't into gangs. I wasn't into fights. I had good grades. I was an honor student. I started cutting class in the middle of freshman year. And in that play group that I was in, I met my daughter's father. And I guess from not having all the love that I had my entire life, I didn't care. So I dealt with a lot of what he brought to me, the abuse, the neglect. I can't be the best mom that I know I can be staying in that relationship. So I separated from him, and it was by far the best thing I ever did. Oh my. Oh, there's so many words I can use to describe her. She's amazing. She's so outspoken, and she's fearless. I don't know. It's so hard to answer that question. To be honest about exactly how I raised her, I don't know if it has everything to do with her incident. Like, I'm so overprotective that sometimes I feel like I don't let her breathe. So it kind of takes her aback a little bit. But even through all of that, like, she's my little best friend. She was shot on the neck, right below her jaw. It was a .22, the bullet that pierced her. It pierced her carotid artery, and it shattered her C5 bone. The last thing that she ate, instead of it coming up, it went into her lungs. She lost so much blood, they had to do a blood transfusion. It was 4th of July weekend. My sister-in-law kept on calling me, persisting on me coming out and joining. And then about 20 minutes into me doing her hair, we get a phone call from my little cousin stating that a guy from the corner had punched him in the face and that we needed to go over there. We get there, and I immediately put my daughter in the house. He came and he grabbed a gun from his side, his waist, and he started shooting. I threw myself to the ground, and I pulled my cousin with me. And then I look up to the porch, and my aunt comes out, and she's screaming, the baby, the baby. And I look up, and she has my daughter in her arms, and she's completely unconscious. And I see the blood on her shirt, and I look at her, and I'm like, I stood there just staring at her, and she shook me. She's like, Alyssa got shot. And I couldn't react. Like, I couldn't cry. I couldn't say anything. So we get into the car, and because I didn't want to carry her, my sister-in-law is driving with my daughter in her arms on our way to St. Christopher's. And in the midst of that happening, the car locks. Car shuts down. It does not want to turn on. I finally grab her, and I'm running up the street barefooted, and there was a family outside. And I said, please help me, my daughter's dying. And he was like, he got in the car, and he ate the red light, stop signs, and he got me to the hospital. And about a few minutes later, the doctors come out, and they're preparing me for surgery, and telling me there's, Miss Torres, there's a possibility your daughter is not going to make it. The only way they stopped the bleeding, they saved her, was by holding a finger to her neck until They had to put a stent in there. I didn't get hit by the bullet. She did. She almost lost her life. I didn't. So how do I prevent that from happening? So now I feel like the whole world is an unsafe place for my child. So how do I protect her? How can I walk outside the house knowing that it's not going to happen again? It's an ongoing reaction. It's still there, day to day. And even if it's not tomorrow, but the next day, here it comes. There's always that one thing that reminds me of the incident or even my upbringing. What I've been going through all these years is not PTSD. It's more of a sustained traumatic stress reaction. Going grocery shopping, going shopping for anything, going to put gas, I'm at alert and I'm thinking all these things. And anyone could just look at me and say, oh, she's just like another regular woman walking around and enjoying her day. But in my head, it's just, I'm not living a normal life. I'm constantly thinking, overthinking, what's the next move? Like, what's the next step? Always expecting a tragic moment, knowing that it's probably not going to happen, but always anticipating it. I feel like everyone in this world has a story. And some of them would help you learn a lot, and you can grow from it. And it makes you want to become a better person.